All right. So, if you have a non-constant number of friends, then you might have to loop over those friends, right? If you're personally doing some complicated work yourself, maybe you need a loop for yourself. But otherwise, there are no loops. Every variable is going to be given a value and never given a new value. It's never going to change. It won't be a variable. It's like a constant, right? So, and what your program should look like is like this, all right? So if I'm running a program like this and if it doesn't have this form, I'm not even going to mark it, right? I'm just going to see it's wrong, and you'll get a 0, right? So it's got to look more or less like this, right? So what does this look like, right? Right, so I'm given a personal input, and we need to return something, right? And you need to return the x, y, and z on every path, right? So here there's 2 paths. There's this one and this one, right? You got to return an x, y, and z. And you focus on your mission. So what does that mean? Well, what is my mission? Well, I've been told that A is some kind of tuple, and B is some kind of integer, and C is some kind of binary tree, right? And I have to return an x, y, and z, which are something useful. I don't know what. I ran out of things. It could be elephants and whatever, right? And that's great. So that documents those variables. Everybody needs to know what the input and the output is, right? All right. So now you get help. So I take my A, B, and C, and I break them up to get a smaller A, a smaller B, and a smaller C. Well, they don't all have to be smaller, right? As we've seen, there's some measure of progress that's smaller, some measure of the size. Some of them could get bigger, some of them, at least something gets smaller, right? So I make them, and I get I do the same for another friend, right? So here I'm making 2 subinstances. And then what do I do with those subinstances? Well, as I said, they got to be valid, right? What does valid mean? This one has to be what? A tuple. This one has to be an integer. This one has to be a binary tree, right? I'm going to look. If they're not that, then you're doing it wrong, right? And you have to be taking, right? You have to form them. And then you take these and you stick them in. Now, you don't need 2 lines. You could create them in here. That'd be fine, right? So, and then what do you do with those? You give them to your friend. And you're recursing. Here's the name of the program. We check, is it the same name, right? So you recurse. And then what does your friend do? Your friend, by magic, gives you an answer, right? And what do we know? This better be of type, whatever our types are, useful things, right? And then what do? We trust them to get our answer. We don't expect him to, anything else from him. And then we take their answers, we combine them somehow to get our answer, and we return our answer. Right? Everybody follow that? And if the input is sufficiently small, right, if A, B, and C, our input is sufficiently small, then there's some answer that you return. And of course, this 0 is what? It's a tuple. This 0 is an integer, and this 0 is a binary tree. Right? All right. Right, one thing I noted here is, I kind of noted that, as I said before, every variable is given one name, one value, and it never changes. Right? And because it's not an iterative algorithm. Right? Nothing here is iterating. Rarely, in this case, we don't have any additional variables beyond this. Right? Maybe you'll need a little variables to do some little work, but generally this is it. Right? One thing, I don't know if maybe I write it somewhere. There's no global variables here. All right? I hate global variables. Never have global variables. Right? Because things are changing outside that you get confused by. Right? They shouldn't be external. Now, once in a while, I will have a global constant. Right? Maybe there's a graph I'm looking at or tables I'm looking at. But so we'll refer to them because we don't want to pass them all along. But they'll never change. So, all right. Now, you know why I get so worked up about this? Is because I see so many wrong answers. Right? So many wrong answers. All right. Right? So no global variables. Right? If you have a local variable in, right, then neither your friend or your boss knows them, right? If I have a local variable and I change it, unless you communicate it with them, they don't know it's changed. You know what I'm saying? All right. So